Hello everyone, this is Isabella with Angel Chantress Love. Today we are going to be working on healing sorrow and grief. So we'll be working with Mary Magdalene and Kuan Yin with her White Lotus team, as well as the Sapphire Dragon Sparkles will be coming in to help bring in all of the things that we desire to replace these energies that'll be leaving our fields in a more powerful and uplifting divine soul energy so we can receive what we desire for ourselves. Let's call in protection. Akamana ea ia veo alatana ea o ia vala ea ana eo anamala ea no ia mala ala ea oa anamana ea o ia mala ala eo ona alamala ea o. And if you can hear it in the background, there's a whole lot of noise suddenly. Oftentimes when you shield and protect or remove lower vibrational frequencies, they like to come in and try and disrupt things. So if you heard that, just continue to push those energies away. And I see the red dragon Bronto coming in to help with that, blasting its powerful fire around this session today. Thank you, Bronto. So the first thing that comes up is I was helping someone many years ago, and they were having trouble receiving love. They wanted a romantic love, and it seemed like no matter what was going on for them, they couldn't receive that. So what I had discovered was a past life where they had lost someone at sea, and I saw them just falling down to their knees in front of a vast ocean. And they were so grief-stricken, they declared to the universe, I will never love again. So let's remove any statements that we have spoken over ourselves in our times of grief and sorrow because we were afraid of being hurt and vulnerable at that level again. So let's clear all of that. Ekmina ona eo seka alamela eka ne iamaka ana eo soka alamala eka ne iataka ala eo veko alavala eka ne iasoma ona ana eo anamana eo I iamala ala eo voka alavala eko e Iavaka ana eo oka alamala eko e. And you can state that I am breaking all word curses spoken over me. And that will cover both curses that you've spoken over yourself that are blocking you, as well as other people's projections and words that are spoken over your life. So let's clear anything that has been used as a coping mechanism to protect oneself. And this can include a vast array of things. This could be alcoholism. This could be smoking, vaping, marijuana use, avoidant tendencies, lack of communication, gambling, being overly sexual, especially with multiple partners, overspending, overindulging, overeating, not eating enough, not feeling worthy enough so you're not nourishing your body properly, not exercising, being stagnant, over-exercising, overexerting yourself, harming your body physically. This can come in a multitude of ways. It can also be spending too much time on social media, spending too many hours being ungrounded and socializing with a lot of people who are pulling on your energies all the time so that you can distract yourself from the hurt that is trying to show itself through your physical, emotional, and mental energies. So any distractions that we're using, we want to clear those out, because although it is very hard to be vulnerable, it is necessary to become vulnerable so that you can heal, because it's not going to go away. Akamane eo veo noa akamane ao ikamanana eo noa akamane ao ianana eo anamane ati Iatakanala eo ke alala ai Iamala eso iso oso ala esa ne Iasona ona ana ea anana ea e Iamana ea ona aka ana eka ne. Okay, and what they're showing me now is ways in which we push people away too. It may be through our vocabulary. If we're feeling vulnerable, like we're not smart enough, we might say things that we think make us sound more intelligent, which kind of puts other people down. So those types of behaviors, anywhere where we're making our appearance or our body appear unpleasing to others, that can trigger people to stay away from us so they won't hurt us. Anywhere where we're constantly hiding away because we don't feel safe around other people because it might trigger these wounds within us. Anywhere where we're using our words aggressively through anger or through judgment of others. And just recognize that when you're around someone else and you see something, a behavior or a trait that you don't like, there's an extremely good chance that that trait is hidden within you somewhere, and it is coming to you because it wants to be healed. Your soul is always wanting to be free from all the limitations and restrictions and control. So if you recognize honestly that if something's coming at you, that it may very well be within you, and analyze that. Sometimes we're just triggering others to activate, which is also a possibility, but just recognize when it might be you're wounding and be willing to self-evaluate. So let's clear the unwillingness and all these extra tendencies to kind of push everyone away because we're afraid. Akamona ana ea oka mea ni akamona ea ika mana akamona ea ika ana aka vea ti ikavaka ata ea moka ata pia ikbala ea opa eta ia ata ti itamala ea oka nala ala viko e. Okay, the next vision I'm having is I'm seeing a woman. And you can take this even if you're masculine or feminine. Someone standing in a home where a loved one has passed away, and there's a lot of grieving, a lot of friends and family and people that have worked with you, that people that have worked alongside this person, and they're grieving the loss of a loved one. So let's clear the energy around this. And I see Mary Magdalene placing her hand on my heart. So as I channel these visions, it is you that has her hand on your heart. Just so you know, I reference it as I'm seeing it for myself, but it expands to all of you listening here. Isabella, 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 A. And she's showing me a vision of my heart, just like all these like dark energies dissolving, almost like they're floating up into the air and then just dissolving. So that lifts off a lot of heavy energy there. I see a lot of really vitiated red around the heart. So there's a lot of anger here, a lot of woundedness protecting the heart. There are a lot of things that happen in our lives that can really hurt us, and we want to be able to free ourselves from these defensive mechanisms and keep a pure and open heart. And you do that through healing it, facing it head on, and surrendering it to either the crystal and core of Gaia, or to the feet of Jesus, or to your angels, or whoever you connect with as your divine source energy, Yahweh, Mother God, the nature spirits, the animal totems, the fairies, anything in spirit, the ascended masters, the galactic guides and healers. They're all here and around us always and willing to assist. And it is through our intention to release these energies. And you don't do this, you don't have to feel bad about this. You don't have to feel like you're overburdening them. You cannot overburden the source of all that is. So that's an ego stance, because you can feel in your physical vessel overwhelmed and harmed and everything, but the source of all that is cannot. So don't feel like you're overburdening or over asking when you're asking to let go of all of these heavy energies. You don't have to carry them. You can free yourself, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. You don't have to be afraid of the judgments of others because you've lost someone and then you find a way to feel better shortly afterwards. Don't feel like you're doing that person a disservice, because they're back in spirit and they feel good. And you don't have to worry about that, and you don't have to feel guilty about finding new love and new partners and new friendships and people who uplift you. So let's let go of anything that causes us to feel like we can't free ourselves of these burdens and return to a state of joy. And Kuan Yin is here. You can focus on her face and she will bring you peace. And she's got her White Lotus team surrounding you. So let's surrender everything that we can let go of here that makes us feel overburdened and like we can't let go. Oh, amaniya layato, amaniya layotano, ayala meko na anamekasi, ayala meo na alavekani, eo atata ekonia se, ayala meo eo anamea e. Iamanala eo anami, eo amanana eo miani. And I'm seeing a lot of departed loved ones here that are just wanting you to let go. They're seeing how you're still holding that pain and they want you to be free. So I'm going to activate a cord cutting protocol, and they want you to know that they understand how much you love them, and they want you to live a full and free life and understand that you will reunite with them when you're ready and when it's your time. But don't shortchange your life in the now, because not everybody is still surrounding you. They're there in spirit, and you can always focus your loving intent on them, as they always do for us. So let's just do this cord cutting for all of this and let it go. Ovadiyatama, ovadiyate, oviyatalala eotiane, oviyatana, oviyati, oveyayavalani. The guides and angels are showing me when I lost my mother to a brain tumor. At the same time, I was in between homes. I was involved with a military person, and they were leaving one space and we were going to another space. So I had given up my place of residence to stay with my family to not only make that move, but also to support my mother. At the time, I was not aware that I was pregnant with my first child, and my spouse at the time had come and decided that he didn't want to be married anymore. So I was going through all these massive transitions and feeling very abandoned by everyone. So what they would like is for you to release all of the abandonment wounds and recognize that through these transitions, even when they're difficult, Spirit is often moving us along our path to our purpose. And these situations that we are in and these participants in our lives are not always on our path any longer. When we have learned our lessons and we have come to a point where we need to release and maybe are not, recognizing the signs that Spirit's giving us, the universe will shift us. And sometimes that can be quite dramatic, especially if we're not in tune and we're not hearing and we're not seeing the signs around us yet. This was definitely a time in my life when I was awakening powerfully back into my spiritual gifts. I had them as a child, but, people shut you down as a child. Oh, those are imaginary friends. And, they get you into the matrix energy and their own lost connections and everything. And it distances you from the divine. So you need to have these major awakenings sometimes to help you transform and move forward on your path. So if you can recognize that these huge turning points are places where, yes, they're painful, and yes, we grieve the loss of others and parts of ourselves, we go through these ego deaths where we have to let go of certain aspects. There's a lot of noise outside. So we have to let go of these old personalities, I'm going to say here, so that we can move into the new energies that we're creating for ourselves. So let's let go of anywhere where we feel like we've been abandoned by others, whether they're showing me, I used to take care of developmentally disabled adults, and many of them transitioned while I was with them. And it was difficult to let them go because I held so much love for them. But I stayed because I wanted to help them through their transitions. So anywhere where we're feeling like loved ones have left us and we feel abandoned in that way because they've transitioned, or we've met new people that we really enjoyed in our lives and then they transitioned suddenly, or maybe they just left friendship circle or a work environment and we felt abandoned because we wanted to stay connected, but they were on a different path at that point and you were too. Anywhere where we felt like something ended that even if we weren't happy in it, we still cling to these energies sometimes because they're familiar, and moving forward can sometimes be scarier than staying where you're at, even if you're not happy. So let's let go of all of these types of energies. They're showing me beloved pets that have transcended. I'm seeing a couple of images of people holding dogs that they dearly loved and crying, and I see rabbits, and I see even wildlife, deer and stuff that were taken care of by people. I see a tiger. So any animals that we were caregivers for or energetically exchanging love with that have passed away or left this situation. They're showing me a vision of myself when I was about, 6 years old maybe. And I had a favorite cat, Shondi, and she was older. She had kittens, and my parents made me choose between keeping a kitten or keeping Shondi, and I kept Shondi because I loved her so much. And eventually she walked away and went away to die. And I remember sitting on the curb and I was just bawling my head off because I couldn't find Shondi. And we lived in a neighborhood where there were probably about 102 homes, and everybody knew everybody, and all these people were coming up and bringing me these cats and presenting them to me to make me feel better. But each one they brought me, I was like, that's not Shondi, and I was just crying. Oh my gosh. So any beloved pets? I had a fish too named Bubbles. It was a goldfish, and I love Bubbles so much. I'd pick it up out of the fishbowl every night and kiss it on the head and put it back in the bowl. And then one day, I got up in the morning and apparently I'd missed the bowl, and I found Bubbles laying on the floor. It was all dried up. And, oh, poor Bubbles. And then it wasn't until I was quite a bit older that one of my sisters said, there were quite a few fish named Bubbles. My parents kept replacing it. So anywhere where you've got these old situations and everything, where you had to let go of somebody who you just really, truly love, just know that they love you back, and they're sending all that love from the spirit world, and they're safe, and they're good, and they're protected, and they're healthy and happy, and you don't need to hold that pain anymore. You can laugh about it years later and just let all that go. So let's clear any of these abandonment wounds. Akamana ia o a teka atmaka ea o itamaka ana eo veka alavala eka vo iavakanea eo soka alasakanea o ikatala ea tia noa atmala ea iamaka ana eo nova alavala eka vi iavaka ana eo ova alavala eka se Isakanala eo ona alasakanala e. And let's go ahead and activate a soul contract clearing protocol here so that we can free up any contracts that we had previously with these energies that we've kind of been holding on to. Because usually when you've both learned your karmic lessons, that soul contract will automatically dissolve. And you don't really have to do anything, but sometimes one or both parties kind of hold on to energies and connections here. So let's go ahead and break any soul contracts that we can break at this time. Ichamala ea nia, ichamala ea ne, ichamala ea noa ea ala ea ne, ikmana eo vika ala veka nia te, ikatala ala mea ea ama nea de, itamala ala ea bika ala eka be, ikbala mea ana eka ea takame. Okay, I am seeing a scene of friend groups, multiple friend groups, and someone being left out or someone finding a new friend group and people being left behind. So anywhere where maybe you had a group of friends in school and then everyone went their separate ways, or maybe you had social groups and there was some dissonance there and you left the group. I'm hearing feeling unwanted, unwelcome, and anywhere where we've had, like, I'm seeing groups that were trauma bonded together, like somebody died in the group because of some irresponsible behaviors. I'm seeing drunk driving. I'm seeing war casualties. I'm seeing missions that went wrong, like people jumping from helicopters. It looks like military groups and things going wrong. They're jumping into war zones, and some people were lost. People in wars where a person or more than one were lost in really dangerous circumstances, and there's still a lot of grief and sorrow and hurt and anger I'm getting anger from family, where the person goes to the door and tries to apologize that their child was lost, but the parents are grieving so badly that they blame that person, and that person takes that blame on because they blame themselves, and all of these issues. Spirit wants all of this let go of. It's not helpful. It doesn't, it's one thing to feel it and to self-evaluate. Could I have done better in this situation? Could I make amends for what I've done? But sometimes it's just about letting it go and letting every single individual process their own emotions. You can't control how anyone behaves. You can't control the outcome. You simply do the best that you can, be the best version of yourself every day that you can be. Understand when maybe you weren't, and forgive yourself and forgive the situation and the others, and move forward in as much joy and peace as you can, because we're not here to inflict harm. The guides are saying we're here to follow our joyous path of expansion, and to do that we have to be free of all these old restraints. So let's let go of any of these old energies here of leaving friendship groups and feeling bad about what occurred. And I'm going to activate a judgment protocol here. What that does is it brings the light into the situation, allows us to karmically balance the scales as appropriate, and frees us from these energies. It holds us accountable in the higher courts and allows that to come down into the 3D for anything that needs to be healed. And it's not punishment, it's cause and effect. It's just the balancing. The universe always demands balance. And we have to, what we create in this world, we need to uncreate as well when it's inappropriate any longer. Emana eva ea vea, emana ea ve, emana ea vea vea, emana vea ve, emana ea ona ea anamana teka ne, emana ea seka alasala eka ne, emala eso ino oto alamala etoe. Okay, and let's let go of all those energies we talked about. Anameana va enia o anameana na eaviano. I'm feeling a lot of tingling in my crown, so release any mental patterns around this, anywhere where you're going back to events that are no longer serving your highest and greatest good. Let's call on Talaris, who's a matrix programmer, to assist everyone in removing the old energetic patterns that are no longer serving us mentally and rerouting our energy to that which is of the highest and greatest good. And Sparkles is here, the Sapphire Dragon, to assist in that purging as well and bring in what we desire. Yamana yana yavana o yamana na venia o eavia ola veane alavio alaveo alateone iotonama iotoname alatea yamana alateo me. Okay, the next vision they're showing me is someone with like liver cancer. They're also showing me a lot of different diseases and cancers. And okay, so this is like the grief and sorrow that we feel when given a terminal diagnosis is what they're saying. So there's like a part of us we feel like is dying, whether we overcome it or not. It's almost like it creates a fear within us that it might always come back and take us from our loved ones. And there's like a grieving process that we go through when we're told something really dire. They're also showing me catastrophic events where we're in fear and loss energy. So anywhere where we're losing homes, losing a part of ourselves, losing family members, loved ones, pets, losing, I'm seeing just earthquake damage and volcanic eruptions and bridges collapsing and bombings and all of that. So anywhere where we're grieving and feeling sorrow over losses of both our own perception of ourselves as well as our physical elements of, losing others that we care for. Anamanayanayo anamanayane yamananayo talamaletone yamananayo nanamanayani yamananayo nanamanayati yatanamanayo kanamanebone yamananayo no kalamalekane. Okay, they're showing me a past life of mine where I was a masculine, dark skin. I had some political views that people didn't like, and I was incarcerated for it, but it was like a dungeon. I was imprisoned in a dungeon, but before they did that, they literally slaughtered my entire family in front of me, and then they left me just like barely alive, locked in a prison to remember it. So they're wanting to clear the energies of loss of freedom as well as unfair loss of family, fortune, the fears of being able to speak your truth at this point because, something terrible has transpired. They're showing me lots of lives in which people have been broken by darkness is what they're saying. So where our personal liberties and freedoms, our freedom to speak our truth, our freedom to, they're showing me witch trials, they're showing me battlefields where people are coming in and taking people's homes and their children and their wives and their everything. So anywhere where we've lost in this capacity, where it has left an indelible mark on the soul, they want us to be free of all these heavy, dense energies as we continue our ascension process. They're showing me, kidnappings and buried alive and government torture, prisoner of war camps. Yeah, all of these things where our freedom has been taken and they tried to break our soul. So everything like this that has transpired. And this isn't just you and the lifetimes you've incarnated in. This is also your family lineage, things that they went through that were traumatic. And when it's unhealed and that person passes away in that lifetime, it gets passed down into the DNA. So we need to clear that as well. And we also have cell memories that activate at the time of the original wound that happened to us. We can reincarnate if it's unhealed, and that lifetime will be triggered. You know, maybe you drowned by hitting your head and going under the water. They're showing me a waterfall where kids are jumping off into the waterfall, but then all of a sudden the kid hits a certain age, and because they died from that event in another lifetime, at that age where they used to just jump off the cliff and dive into the water with their friends and it was fun, all of a sudden they get to the edge and they can't do it. They're terrified all of a sudden. And that's because a cell memory has been activated and it is asking for release and clearing. So you need to look at that. Why did I suddenly balk at jumping? Why did I suddenly decide I couldn't go to that meeting? Why did I suddenly decide that this situation, although it doesn't appear to be dangerous, I suddenly feel really threatened in this situation? So you want to look at those things that come up for you and clear those energies at the point of origin. So let's go ahead and clear everything we can today. I'm going to first bring through a cord cutting protocol and then a judgment protocol for anything that needs to be cleared karmically. And then we'll do a soul contract clearing protocol as well as a generational curse protocol. So cord cutting. Achmi ana eo voka alavela ekane, itakanala eo moka alamala ekane, iamaka ana eo voka alavala ikani, iamaka ana eo noka alamala ekone. And judgment, ia chaka, ia chakane, ia chaka, ia chakane, ea chikanola ala ea nika e, chalamala ala ea niave, alavea ana me. And soul contracts that are ready to be released. Obaditana mana, obatiana me, onoa, obatiana me, ibatiama eko, ibatiaka me, abatioka, abatika, abatieko e. And let's clear any generational curses. And these are just patterns that have been established where a lower vibrational frequency has come in and that pattern is just repeated over and over and over again. And we want to clear all those dense energies. We're meant to thrive. We're meant to be free. We're meant to live joyously. We're meant to create. And all of these old energies that are stuck in the matrix is what we're clearing out at this time. So you have your own personal matrix that you're clearing as well. And as you clear yourself, you clear your generational lineage and free your descendants from having to go through those same trials and tribulations that you went through in your own life and your ancestors went through before you. So doing this work is so essential, and you're very brave and strong for being here and being willing to release these things. So thank you for that. It helps everyone. Akamiya ana ea ona ekate, okamiya ana ekatiane, okamea ana vionike ala ea tiama, etamia ala ea sikamana ikamana ana ekamiane, akamana ea ana ekame. I see these like grandmothers in the background and these from different countries, and they're like clapping to the to the chanting. They're happy. You're releasing, you're freeing them. That's beautiful. Okay, and as we release all these energies, I just want to thank everyone. We're going to do one final clearing and then bring in the sapphire dragon energy to bring forward that beautiful peace and joy and light. I would like to thank everyone for doing this work. If you're benefiting from my work, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing my videos with others, donating to the channel to support my work. I am offering several services on my website at this time if you require a more personal session for yourself. I do sessions, I do extended sessions, I do space clearing, I do dream walks. If you would like to benefit more fully from your individual path, please do join me on my website at angelchantress.love, and I would be more than happy to assist you. All of the details can be found on the website, as well as more information on myself and my own journey. So let's do one final clearing, and all of these energies that you have experienced and your ancestors have experienced, they're all here now and all wanting this release as well as yourself. Any of them who are not ready to release and heal, that's totally fine. They have free will, as do you. So we'll let them go. We'll send forgiveness energy and healing and light to them, and we'll clear for ourselves everything we can now. Akmiana, Akmiana, Ikmana Oamala, Ekmiana, Ikmana Eo, Akmiano, Ikmana Eo, Ma Akmiano. And let's bring in Sparkles, the sapphire dragon, and Tolaris here as the matrix programmer, and his team will come forward and help to reprogram and seed in these new energies of light, of love, of joy, of freedom, of creativity, of peace, of forgiveness, of acceptance, of self-love. I see Mother God here with her beautiful rose and light, wanting to bring that into your heart space. Amona mani omanale amo amani iomo amani eomi hate eomi ona mani aseo I amanao eomi ale eomi ate Alame ayavaka alame ohe Imalai so alami sohe Ayamana. I see beautiful sun coming out and a beautiful rainbow. Thanking all of the guides, the ancestors, all of you who have come forward today to engage in this beautiful healing. I'm sending you so much love and so many blessings.